watch me upgrade this MacBook.
That's right, today we're going to be upgrading this 2012 MacBook Pro, a very popular model amongst Mac enthusiasts. It's known for its rugged durability and its poor screen resolution. This bad boy's rocking Mac OS Catalina and 4 gigabytes of RAM, but it does have a Core i7. And it's got MagSafe and other ports. So like I said, it's rocking 4 gigs of RAM. We're going to be swapping that out for a 16 gigabyte kit today, which is the max you can go. It also has a 120 gigabyte solid state drive as well as a 500 gigabyte hard disk drive. The CD drive has been removed from this unit and replaced with a storage drive. We're going to head over here and grab our 2 new drives. You see we got a OWC Mercury Electra 6G speed, as well as a 1 terabyte hard disk drive at 7,200 RPMs for storage. Then we're going to swing over here and grab my RAM stash. That's where I'm hiding my 16 gig kit here, Time Tech. You can see I got a lot of parts floating around, so figured it'd be a fun little project for the day. The bottom of the shell is held on by 10 Torx screws that I'm pointing out here right now. You're going to want to remove those screws, and once you do, the bottom should pop right up, just like so. You should be greeted with a similar view to this. First thing we're going to do, we're going to go to the right next to our RAM, right here, and we're going to disconnect this battery cable. Pry gently to get it disconnected. Then we're going to head over to the left. You'll see these 2 screws right here are holding down our hard drive bracket. You'll want to remove these 2 screws. They don't actually come loose from the bracket, so don't worry about losing them. And yoink that bad boy right out. Now the drive is still connected to a very fragile ribbon cable, so you're going to very gently want to remove that connection, like so. The drive has studs screwed into the side that hold it down. You're going to want to take these out so that we can transfer them onto the replacement drive. And now there's 3 ribbon cables and a fan cable here we're going to want to disconnect very, very gently. The screws that hold the CD drive, speaker, and Wi-Fi card down are very tiny Phillips screws that are too hard to get my camera on, but it's pretty straightforward. Once you remove those screws, you'll see the Wi-Fi card lifts out of the way, and you can just pull your CD drive right out. Like I mentioned before, the CD drive in this laptop has actually been replaced with a secondary hard drive. I'm going to be removing this 120 gigabyte SSD, and we're going to be putting that 1 terabyte hard disk drive in its place. I figured it would make sense because hard disk drives are a little more sensitive due to moving mechanical parts, so this would give it a little more protection from getting banged up. Say if you were to drop the laptop or something along those lines. And then we're going to be putting our new 250 gigabyte SSD where the original hard disk drive was, that 500 gigabyte hard disk drive. So we're going to go ahead and install our studs that we saved from earlier. And then I just like to label my drives with a Sharpie and some tape. Now you just put it all back together the same way it came out. The last upgrade I want to do here is very simple. We're going to remove the 2 RAM cards by pushing outward on the tabs on the left and right. You'll see they pop right up. Our new RAM cards go in the same way the old ones came out. I was curious with these upgrades what trying to run Sequoia on this laptop would be like. So what I did is I went ahead and I partitioned the 1 terabyte drive so that I could copy macOS Catalina to it, and then the idea is to upgrade the SSD using the OpenCore Patcher tool. I just downloaded it right off of the website. They have a ton of tutorials on how to install unsupported operating systems from Apple onto their older computers. I'm not going to do too much as far as tutorials go with that here, but I did include some of these clips of the process. It takes a lot longer than what you're seeing here. Just these loading bars take forever, especially when booting up into macOS recovery. But you'll see here that all I did was I used disk utility to restore, quote unquote, the image of my solid state drive onto the 250 gigabyte partition of the hard disk drive. Sorry if that was a mouthful, but that way I will have 2 copies of macOS Catalina. And then obviously I can log back onto the SSD version of Catalina and upgrade that using the patcher tool. If I'm being honest, I wasn't all too impressed with the results of running Sequoia on this machine. It's pretty choppy and laggy. Catalina actually runs better on the hard disk drive than Sequoia runs on the SSD on this laptop. So if I'm being honest, this might not be worth it for most people. I'd probably just stick with the main supported final operating system for this device, which is Catalina. Or if you're savvy, you can throw Linux on here. Old Macs are great for Linux. But you can do this. As of currently, this laptop I have here has both Catalina and Sequoia. So if you're looking to get some of those more modern features at the cost of snappiness to the operating system, well, you can do it. I think that Catalina is perfectly sufficient of an operating system. You can find some workarounds if you're trying to use modern Apple software that they don't support on older operating systems anymore. But that's a whole nother topic for another video. But here you go. We got a Core i7 2012 MacBook Pro with 16 gigs of RAM running Sequoia. And I don't really like it. Thankfully, I can just boot right back up into Catalina like nothing ever happened. Pretty awesome. That'll be the end of this one. Later.